Welcome to BlueView 201, Basic Object Customization. It is assumed that everyone viewing this video has already viewed the BlueView 101 video on basic navigation. In this video, we will cover the following topics: understanding what BlueView objects are, creating brand new BlueView objects, and also cloning and changing existing objects. The best way to learn is by doing. So let's start by making this simple chart. In this chart, I want to see the number of loads broken out by transaction type, fiscal year, and period, and also displayed in this format where the period is displayed across the top. To begin with, let's add a new sheet. We don't have to do this step every time, but for now, let's start with a new blank canvas. To add a new sheet to your BlueView application, click the menu button and then Add Sheet. Next, let's make a new chart object. On your new blank sheet, right-click anywhere in the blank open area and select New Sheet Object, Chart. In the list of possible objects you can create, you will notice several other objects, some of which were covered in the BlueView 101 course. Most of the time, you will be making or editing chart objects, so let's go over that now. The Chart Wizard will help us make our chart. You will notice here we can choose from many different types of charts available to us. We can make bar charts, line charts, pie charts, combo charts, gauges, and also pivot table and straight table charts. A general overview of each of these kinds of charts is covered in the BlueView 101 video. For this example, let's make a pivot chart. Pivot charts work similar to pivot tables in Excel, where we can display one field going across the top and another going down the side. Next, we reach our Dimension tab. Let's pause here a moment to go over an important concept about dimensions and expressions. Every piece of data you will put in your chart will fall under two main categories. It'll be a dimension or an expression. Dimensions are fields you want to group your data by. For example, if you want to get the total cost for each region, cost is being broken out by region, thus region is your dimension. Basically, any field you're not going to aggregate, meaning you're not going to sum or find the average of, you're going to want to put as a dimension. Expressions are any field you're going to aggregate. So sum of costs, count of deliveries, average length of haul, anything you sum, count, average, or whatever will be an expression. Let's go over a few examples. ABC transaction type, dimension or expression. We are never going to sum this field, so most of the time it's going to be a dimension. I say most of the time because it is possible one might want to count the transaction types, but not usually. Next, quantity, dimension or expression. Most of the time, we're going to want to get the sum of the quantity or the average quantity, so that makes it an expression, usually. Please keep in mind there are instances where any field will be either a dimension or expression. These examples are for the most common uses. Next, we have cost, dimension or expression. Most of the time, we're going to want to get the sum of the costs, so expression. Sum of the costs or the average cost or whatever. Logistics region is next, dimension or expression. If you guessed dimension, you are correct. Most of the time you'll want to use the logistics region we want to group our data by. Length of haul. dimension, or expression. Most of the time we will want to get the average length of haul or a total miles or something like that. So most of the time it's going to be an expression. Finally, fiscal week, dimension or expression. While true the fiscal week is a number, we usually don't sum or count it. We usually want to see our data broken out by week, so usually it's going to be a dimension. Hopefully with this small exercise, you have a good idea what the difference is between dimensions and expressions. Let's return to our chart. Here we are back on our Dimensions tab. If you recall, we are trying to build a chart that shows the count of loads or deliveries by ABC trans type, fiscal period, and year. So given that, what are our dimensions? If you guessed ABC trans type, fiscal period, and year, then you are correct. Next, we put in our expression. If we know the syntax, we can simply type it in. However, as you are just starting out, you probably won't know. BlueView gives you some help in this. Down here, we have 3 drop-down boxes. In the aggregation box, we choose total count. For the field, we choose delivery. Next, we click on this distinct checkbox. If we didn't click this, then it will count all the dupes too. On the back end, the data in this application will show more than one delivery number if there was more than one product or material type on that truck delivered. If we didn't click this distinct button, BlueView will count these multi-product deliveries more than once. By clicking this, we are sure to count only distinct delivery numbers. Okay, once we have everything selected, simply click Paste and your code is generated for you. Press OK and Finish, and then let's see what you have so far. Okay, I've taken this out of the PowerPoint presentation and into BlueView itself. We're currently in the training application. Okay, here's the object we just created, and this is what it looks like right now. Okay, you'll notice that it doesn't look exactly like the object that we're trying to do. So let's go in and make some tweaks. Okay, let's go into Properties. Now over here on the General tab, you'll see our General tab. I'm going to go ahead and give it a name. Okay. Right now it's named Count of Distinct Deliveries because by default that's the first expression. But I want to make this a unique object, so I'm going to call this my. Okay. Here's our Dimensions tab again. Here's the dimensions that we chose. Okay. Expressions. Here's the expression we make. I'm going to go ahead and rename this to be loads. Okay. And finally, I'm going to go over to this presentation tab, and I'm going to click Always Fully Expanded. Okay. What that does is it makes it so that these collapsed areas here are always fully expanded. So always fully expanded, apply, okay, and now it looks like this. Okay, so we have our transaction type, our year, our period, and our loads. But our period is not going across the top like I wanted it. But since it's the pivot chart, all we have to do is just grab over here, click, drag, and then drag it up to the top like this. And then now we have our data going like we want. Okay? What if we wanted to add another metric to this? Okay, what if we wanted to say add the sum of the quantity? Okay, let's go back in, Properties, go over to our Expression tab because we're going to be adding the sum of quantity. Sum of quantity is an expression. So add. We can either type in sum quantity. keep in mind that the field names are case sensitive. So if I put in a little q quantity, it's not going to work. Okay. So we can either type it in and trust that we're typing in the right thing, or we can go over here to sum and then find the quantity field. It's all alphabetical, so it's right after P, quantity, and then paste. Now on this one, of course, I did not hit the distinct box because since the data is, because the quantity is split out between material type, and so I wanted to sum them all up again. Okay. Hit OK, and I'm going to just call this quantity, and then apply. OK. Now I got my loads and my quantity, but I actually don't want it I don't want it to be displayed like this. I want to display it kind of like this. I'm going to take the loads here and kind of drag it down so it's a column there. Now I have the loads on top of the quantity. Pretty neat, huh? Okay. That's looking pretty nice, but you know what? There's one thing. There's one thing missing. The number formats. I want to display these with a comma at the thousands and the millions place. Okay. So I'm going to go back into properties, and over here on the number tab, we have our two expressions, and then here we have the formats we can do. So I'm gonna turn these into integers, loads in integers, and then the quantity in integers, and then hit apply. Okay, and there's our object. Even though this was a very simple object, using these principles you can create pretty much any object you want. Next, let's go over the last part of this video, object customization. I'm going to go over here to the first tab, and on this first tab of the training application, you see a basic pie chart that shows quantity. Let's say I wanted to see a pie chart with cost in it, total spent. So what I do is I'm going to take this pie chart, I'm going to right click, clone it. So now this clone is mine to do with whatever I want. I go in, I right click, properties. Here's how this chart is built. It has one dimension. It has one expression. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to call it sum of cost. Okay? You can either type it in like that, or you can press this little button here with a little ellipse on it to open up the edit expression window, in which I can delete the expression and then use these selection boxes to create my expression for me. Okay? So I'm going to call it cost, and then hit OK. Now it still says quantity up here, but that's because over here, on your general tab, you've hard-coded the word quantity. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out and hit apply. Or let's see, I'm still going to leave the chart title in there. Now the chart title is whatever the expression is. Okay? Thank you for viewing this video. While I did not cover every possible feature you can do, I did give you a good first step in creating your own objects. Thank you for your time.